It's still worth it, my friend. For someone who admits to not being a great public speaker, you proved yourself wrong, my friend. So thank you for sharing your story. It is very humbling to be up here, and never in a million years did I think I would be up here sharing my story in hopes of, there you are!
Pablo!
Yeah, my husband, my counselor, and I couldn't see her face. And here she is, and my heart is like, actually, she met with a friend of mine today to counsel at On Track, and I have a picture of the two of them on my phone that I'm going to blow up to poster size. I'll put it on the bill side of my desk. So, you think I'm kidding. I wanted to start my story as a young adult, where I loved to pay my bills. I would run out to meet the mail carrier and grab them and go into my house and pay them. And yes, obviously I had a very fulfilling life as an adult. And then I found out that you got scores for paying your bills. Check. And then a higher score for paying them early. Check. And then a higher score for paying more than what was owed. Check. Check. And it was like this real life video game that I was playing. And it was just rewarding. And then when I noticed when I went out into the world and did grown up things like buy a car, that people would jump through hoops for me because I paid my bills. And it never occurred to me that you wouldn't pay your bills. And so I remember buying my first car as a grown-up, and the car salesman was like, you pay your bills, you're the kind of person we want to sell to. And I walked out with this car that I loved, that I wanted, and he put a bow on it. And then flash forward to 7 years later, I'm a single parent, and I found myself, I've been working 3 jobs to, as a parent, I always made the choice to choose to be my son's mother, and so I always wove things together so I could be there for him. And I was always very fortunate to find those opportunities. And then I found myself with no more jobs, and I took it and my landlord wouldn't re-rent my apartment to me when I leased this up because I didn't have a job, which I understood, and I took it as a sign to move. And so we moved. What else would it be? And so we moved sight unseen to Asheville without knowing anyone, and landed here and felt home immediately. But I didn't have a job. My plan was to move down here with a safety net, and things were going to go according to my plan, because that's how they always go, right? According to plan. And they didn't. I got here, and finding a job was easy, but I grew up in Connecticut as a preschool teacher, where you make $18 an hour, which is not much in Connecticut. But when you come down here and it's $9 an hour, it's a different world. And then I got really sick, so working wasn't really possible. And so I sort of delegated my money. Like, these are the things that I need to pay from the safety net, and these are the things I need to put on my credit card. And it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I found myself in $30,000 worth of debt, and was feeling really just down on myself and embarrassed, and really ashamed of this mass debt. I'd always had this amazing credit card. I used to skip out to the mail carrier to get my bills, and now I was running from them. And it came to the point where I made the decision to not pay my bills, because when I found a job, we were living paycheck to paycheck, and covering those bills, the minimum wage wasn't doing much of anything. And the funny thing is, when I finally got the courage to say out loud that I had this issue and I needed help, and I named it, and I named it to someone else, that's when things shifted for me. So I met a couple through church who had tackled their own $200,000 school debt, and they taught me 2 things, and one of these things is why I think I'm here, because Anna is one of her favorite things. One, to align my beliefs and my morals with the way I spend my money. What is that? I have good morals and beliefs, but I do not spend my money like that. It never even dawned on me that that was something you should do. I mean, I lined it up with everything else I did in life, just not the way I spend my money. That was mine. It was eye-opening to make that connection, and it just changed my appreciation for money. That I could spend it in a way that aligned with who I was. And then another thing is budgeting, which was always so scary. And so these people, Sam and Nicole, introduced me to a budgeting tool called You Need a Budget. I named my budget Pablo because I wanted it to be fun. I wanted to tell my friends, tonight I'm going home, I'm grabbing a glass of wine, I'm going to curl up with Pablo, and we're going to do our thing. Yes. And that's why I'm here, because Anna and I always plan my plans around Pablo. And I wanted to enjoy it. I wanted budgeting to be fun, and so giving this whole persona to my budget did that for me. And so we did. We'd spend Friday nights together, and I would put it in my calendar that Pablo and I were going to curl up and drink wine together. And so, sorry, I just got distracted by Pablo. So from there, I did find my way to On Track, and my first introduction was it's an intro class that Tamara did, and I watched her so confident and so telling her own money story. You are badass. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I did. And just watching her own her story, good or bad, and I mean, it's all really good, right, from the way it turns out, and kind of very clear on her dream and knowing that she was going to make it happen. And I was like, I want that, yes. And so I made an appointment and crossed paths with Anna, who is a rock star. I want you to sign my poster. Who was just so supportive and kind and patient. And I walked out of her office thinking I could own the world with like the $5 in my pocket, but I could do anything with my money, and I could. That's the thing. It wasn't just this, cockamamie idea. I could. And so a couple more sessions, and I was clear, and I ended up going to meet with a bankruptcy attorney, which was so scary to me because I didn't know what my rights were. I didn't know what was within my legal limits or what this meant, and I pulled into downtown Asheville right into a spot with money still on the meter, and I was like, this is a good sign. Get out of the car and the wind hit my hair just right. It's like, all right, and then in my head it's like the Mary Tyler Moore show playing. Slipping across the street into the office. It's a true story. I was like, I got this. Right? My hair looks good. I'm gonna file bankruptcy. And I walked in, and everything was okay. The lawyer sat down with me, explaining to me how things were going. The words were, this is your do-over. Like, you get to start over again. You get to put this behind you. It's okay. He kind of put all of my concerns to bed, and just, like, it happened, but I got to move forward from there. And so my bankruptcy discharged in the summer of 2016. I went back to Anna a couple months ago, and my credit score was up to 700. Pablo and I celebrated. I do have a sort of confession, though. I recently got married, and I had to give up my relationship with Pablo because we chose to use a different budgeting tool. And although it meant giving up Pablo, it meant trading it in for an incredibly supportive partner who is willing to do this, knowing like we need to budget. No more LaCroix for you every night. He's been this single successful man for his whole life, where I've been a broke-ass single mama. And so the combining world has been very different, but he's so open and incredible to it. And I miss Pablo, and I do think of him often, but I'm grateful for that trade. And so for me now, money, I feel empowered by it, right? I'm not afraid of it. We plan, and if something happens, a tree fell on my car a couple years ago, and I was like, I got this. I got a new car, no bow this time. But it's amazing that I feel prepared, and the world is less scary when you're not afraid of money anymore. And so it's a gift, and so I hope that you walk away from that too feeling empowered if you don't already, and that we are, we're the heroine of our own stories, and as women we're incredibly powerful beings. So, thank you.